It's time for PAX 2024. We're going to go in and check it out. So I just had a go at the Steam Deck, which is pretty cool. There's a podcast I listen to where all the hosts have a Steam Deck and they're always going on about how good it is and all the games they're playing on it. So it was interesting to finally give one a try. At PAX, Steam announced that they're finally releasing the Steam Deck here next month in November. So it's been a long time coming. Like, some people have imported them from the US just so they can have it, but it's good to finally have a release. So the one I played was, I'm guessing, the OLED version, and I played it for about 15 minutes, and I was playing Aperture Desk Job, which is kind of a tech demo sort of game just to introduce you to the hardware. It was kind of based on the Portal games that Valve have made, so that was pretty fun, just like it's a sort of comedic sort of game. But yeah, the actual hardware of the Steam Deck is very big, and it's also kind of heavy, but it's pretty comfortable. They've got, like, it's a lot chunkier than the Switch with handles sort of on the back, more like a regular controller. And overall, I'd say it's pretty comfortable where all the buttons are. With the sticks, they're kind of set inwards a lot, so I thought that was maybe slightly uncomfortable with how far in they are, but it'll probably be fine once you get used to it. And there are also 4 buttons on the back, kind of on the handle side, which they'd be good for some games, which I thought they were kind of a bit hard to press in, but I'm guessing that's just so you don't press them accidentally all the time. But overall, I'd say the Steam Deck is like a really good device, as everyone keeps going on about it. I think maybe, like, I wouldn't use one myself because I usually prefer to play it on the TV, but I can see why everyone loves it so much. So yeah, it's good to finally give it a try, and I'm glad it's finally releasing here. So I'm here with Mars and Tex with your game Key Fairy. It's extremely impressive, and I've never seen any game that looks this amazing with the black and white art style. So, like, just to start with, what can you tell me about the game briefly?
So the game itself has entirely hand-drawn art. The game is a pacifist bullet hell about being a little fairy who's exploring a whimsical and haunting forest filled with terrible monsters who you want to make friends with.
Yeah, that's really good. So I've just played your demo, and I've never really played any game like this before with, like, the grapple and tether and you swing around the enemies. Like, is that something you've come up with yourself, or is it like some other sort of game?
Yeah, that was something that I designed. We were thinking about how you can make a pacifist bullet hell and take away the shooting aspect, and so instead focus more on movement as a complex mechanic. And so having the slidey basic movement, but with the grapple to allow you to do sharper turns, it makes it a more complex player space.
It's really interesting because it kind of works like a twin-stick shooter where you aim with the other stick and then shoot it off, and then you hook onto an enemy and, like, swing around it, and then there's, like, the little star bits that you pick up and then that shoots back to the enemy, and it's just, like, extremely interesting. I've never seen anything like it. But with the art style, is that something you've come up with yourself, or is it, like, inspired by something else?
So the art style, a lot of it is just coming from the art that I make myself as a traditional artist, though it is definitely inspired by old illustrations, children's, like, fairy tale books, old Dungeons and Dragons art, as well as, like, 1-bit games and that kind of crunchy retro aesthetic.
Yeah, it's like, really like it, and I like how when there's an enemy around, it kind of shifts to red around the edges.
Yeah, we're trying to be really intentional about when we bring in any color other than black and white. So the red, yeah, is trying to represent, like, that anxiety creeping in and the kind of danger and panic.
That's good. And how long have you been working on the game so far?
We've been working on it full-time for a year. We got grant funding at the start of the year, and so we've been developing it full-time. Before that, we were making it as a capstone project in our last year of uni.
Okay. And do you have a rough idea on when you're hoping to get it finished?
It should be finished by the end of next year. That's the aim.
And so you've got a wish list now on Steam. Do you have any other platforms you're hoping to bring it to, or just Steam for the moment?
Aim for Steam, wish listed on Steam, but you can join our Discord if you want. You can just go to our website and get to it from there.
Cool. Well, thanks for having a chat with me. I'm extremely impressed by your game.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
So I'm here with Pratik from I Miss My Friends with your game Fishbowl. I've just played your demo. What can you tell me about it briefly?
Hi, thank you so much. So Fishbowl is a slice of life narrative game which is about our main character Alo. She's moved to a new city, she's working as a video editor, and she's also going through the grief of her grandmom's death. So she's unpacking all of her old stuff and reliving childhood memories.
Yeah. Firstly, I really like the art style. Like, it's very cute, pixel art sort of thing. Nice colors. It seems like it's going for like the cozy vibe sort of style game. Is that right?
Thank you so much for saying that. Yeah, we wanted it to look really wholesome and inviting, but we also wanted like a melancholic, sad vibe. Not exactly sad, but like a nostalgic, melancholic vibe. Because as you played in the demo, it's not all cozy. There are parts of the story which are actually very serious and touching. So we wanted to keep that balance.
Yeah, because like in towards the end of the game or end of the demo, like you go to like a hospital or something, and your grandmother or something has passed away.
Right. So she gets when you go to bed, she gets a dream of when she went to the hospital and her grandmom had passed away. And throughout the game, you'll have certain days when you'll go through Alo's emotional state by playing through her dreams.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty interesting idea of like the dream sequence, because like strange things can happen in dreams. So is that the sort of thing you're going for?
Yes, kind of. We wanted to introduce like certain different kinds of mechanics because you're stuck in the house all the time, and we wanted the players to look at other environments and other parts of Alo's life too. And so that's exactly what we're going for with the dream sequence and the memories too.
Yeah. And also there are a few little moments of gameplay to break up the story sections. Like near the start you were kind of unpacking a box, and I liked the bit where you were like doing some video editing, and it's like a almost rhythm game where there's things sliding across and you have to go like up and down to match up the colors. So are there any other sorts of bits you're kind of thinking about for that?
So right now we just have the unpacking game and the video editing game that you were talking about. The video editing game will get more power-ups and more mechanics as you meet more colleagues from your office. There will be a twist to the unpacking game a little later in the game, and the puzzles will get much harder as you go.
Yep. That's good. And so you're saying now wish listing on PS5 and Steam. Do you have an idea on when you might be getting it out?
We don't have a release date yet, but we hope to announce something next year. But the demo is available on Steam and PlayStation 5.
Yep, that's good. So thanks for having a quick chat with me.
Thank you so much.
So I'm here with James with your game Anticitizen Red. I've just played your demo. What can you tell me about it briefly?
Our demo it's a cyberpunk Australian shooter for sort of a retro-inspired Max Payne, Halo 1-y, sort of all-year classic, late 90s, early 2000s games. We've taken all the love from that and put it into something brand new in a modern setting with all the beautiful features that you get from modern games.
Yeah, so I really liked the demo that I just played. Firstly, I really like the art style that you're going for. It's like 64 Dreamcast, like low graphic quality.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm the artist, actually. And there was a lot of research that went into this. There was a lot of playing a lot of classic games, ripping things from classic games just to pull them apart and see how they all worked. And there's so much beautiful ingenuity that those teams put into things that when you pull it apart, you're like, oh my God, that's genius. And that's all just been lost on modern stuff because we're working on Unreal 5 and you've got like nanite and stuff, so you can just throw infinite polygon models in there and it'll run fine. But there's a real artistry to making something. All of the shadows in this are actually painted onto the textures, much in the way. I took that from Valve. Valve did that in all their old games, and it looks really nice. They have it in CSGO. When you see a hand on a rifle in the CSGO and there's like a shadow for the thumb, that's painted onto the texture of the gun. None of that is done live. It's all built by artists who are doing these things and being clever.
Yeah, that's really good. I love the art style you're going for. And so it's set in Australia, and it has a lot of funny dialogue. I really like that. There's the story. How does that go?
Well, we're from Sydney, and we really wanted to do an Australian game in the way that we know Australia. Because you think of Australian games, right, and you're like, oh, and you're a magical wombat in the outback on an adventure, and we're like, that's cool, but we aren't wombats and we're not in the outback. We want to play a game where you're, in Sydney and some dudes ask you for like $5 on the train, And so we wanted to take that side of Australia and put it into a game. And so the setting of the game is in 2227. America has taken over Australia, and they have sold it out to a company, and Australia is a corporate-owned country. And you are playing as an Aussie bloke who is under this giant corporate boot heel, and you are fighting back against it. And we just wanted to try to take that, because you see a lot of it every day in Australia, where you see like a lot of corporatization of stuff that is just normal. And we wanted to be like, all right, let's take that to the natural extreme in 200 years and play how you'd fight back against that.
Yeah, and so with the gameplay, I really liked it. It's like very fast-paced action sort of thing, third person, and like you've got a gun, but then you can also like throw the gun away and just pick up a bat and start hitting the people. And so like in this demo, you're going through like a cityscape where like you're going into different buildings and then out on the street again. Is it kind of level-based, or is it like a big areas, or how does that work?
Well, this game actually started as an arena shooter. And that was the original prototype of this game. And it was really easy to just be like, because we could feed different weapons to you, and as you fight new guys, you get new weapons. But when we moved towards like a more campaign-based space, it let us manage how the player interacts with combat a bit more. So we've got like this in the second level, there's a bit where like 30 guys are coming at you with chainsaws and knives and guns and bats, and we give you a rocket launcher. And you feel so good. And then we have bits where we're like, you've got a knife, and there are 30 men with assault rifles. Have fun, buddy.
Yeah, I think the game is really, really fun. It's one that I definitely want to play. So how's development going? Do you have like a plan on release at all?
We have a tentative 2026 release, because all three of us work full time. And so this is sort of the second job. And it's very easy to move this deadline back because it does not pay rent. And so hopefully, that's kind of why we're at PAX. We're looking for a publisher. And so hopefully someone comes up to us and says, I love this Anticitizen Red game. Here's $1 million. I'll take the game in 2026. And we'll see how we go. If we can get it with a publisher and get some funding support, then we can continue for 2026. But if you see us release later, you'll be like, they didn't get that publisher.
Great. And so you're just like planning for Steam for the moment?
Yes. And again, that's another publisher thing. We can port it to PlayStation. We've ported a prototype to a friend's PlayStation dev kit. But also, that's such an expensive thing to do. That's sort of in the lap of the gods. But right now, it's just for PC.
Yeah. All right, well, that's all really good. Thanks for having a quick chat with me.
Thank you so much, man.
I'm here with Aiden and your game Dungeons and Dining Tables. What can you tell me about it briefly?
Yeah, definitely. So Dungeons and Dining Tables is a cozy RPG. We delve dungeons to collect rare pieces of furniture. You take that furniture back to your house to decorate, and the cozier your house is, the higher your stats are.
That sounds pretty good, because I played your demo just before.
Yeah.
You're playing as like a little axolotl person, and it's kind of like an action RPG. You go around fighting enemies and stuff. And at one point in the demo, you get up to a house that's like kind of demolished, and you have to start building it. Later on in the demo, you find some like furniture pieces and other stuff. So how does all that work?
Yeah, so the idea is that as you go through the procedurally generated dungeons, you'll collect packing boxes, and in those packing boxes are new pieces of furniture. The furniture has randomized stats on them, so you can get like a legendary couch of maximum health or something like that, and that'll give you some extra health when you place it in your house. So you do the dungeon, there's a boss fight at the end, and after you defeat the boss, you go back to the town and you decorate your house and you level up your house, and that's your player stats. So yeah, pretty cool.
So besides the furniture, there were other items as well. Is there crafting as well, or how does that?
Yeah, so all of the bosses that you fight become NPCs in the town. So the first boss, the one that we have in the demo, is a couch troll who turns into the carpenter for the town. So once you unlock the carpenter, he will craft furniture for you. You collect materials as you progress through the dungeons, and then that way you've got a whole plethora of different things that you can decorate your house with.
It seems like a pretty interesting and unique combination of like the house building and action RPG sort of stuff. So in this, you've got like a stick that you're fighting enemies with. Do you get to get like better weapons and things from more bosses and stuff?
Yeah, definitely. So after you defeat that first boss, he gives you kind of like the hero's sword, which is this awesome sword that's got these runic symbols all over it. They're all furniture based as well. And there's a couple other cosmetics that you'll get. The axolotl will be able to change outfits and those sorts of things as well. It's definitely one of those like Animal Crossing meets Diablo 3 kind of experiences.
In this demo, you're starting off in kind of a green, rocky area, and you're building your house there. Do you like later go on to build more houses in other sort of areas?
Yeah, so you just stick to the one town. So the town is called Kindlerest, and that's where your kind of hub spot is. But all of the dungeons that you go through have a whole bunch of different biomes. So we've got a forest dungeon called Lampshade Grove. We've got a desert dungeon called the Dusty Dunes. There's a cave, which is the Cabinet Caves, and then there's an ice biome later on as well.
That's good. And how long have you been working on the game roughly so far?
Yeah, so I have a team of 10 and we work on this part-time when we have time. We've been working on it for about 18 months so far. We were actually at PAX last year as well, which was pretty amazing for us. So it's really exciting to be back here again and showing off the new content that we've got. We've probably got about 9 to 12 months left of development on it as well, and hoping to have a demo out very soon, probably end of the year or beginning of next year.
All right, well, that all sounds pretty good, so thanks for having a chat with me.
Fantastic, thank you very much.
So I'm here with Anthony from Radio Bush with your game Lighthaze World. What can you tell me about it briefly? I see here it says a cozy puzzle game relaxed in the Tasmanian wilderness, so I've just played your demo.
It is that. It is a cozy puzzle game set in Tasmania. It's about an anxious hero named Nim that goes shopping, and they get really overwhelmed by the environment of the shopping centre and the crowds, and they collapse and wake up to find themselves in Tasmania that they've mentally manifested to make their lives a lot easier. And they're trying to work with their dog Chewy to get dog food, and it's just puzzles that aren't too hard, that don't break your brain type thing.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good, because like I'm not really that good at puzzle games, but I do like them when they're not too hard. I just played your demo, and like the very end section I got a bit stuck on for a while, but I got it eventually. And so in the demo you're following this dog around, so there's a story that goes along with that?
Yeah, there is. But we wanted to have a story that wasn't forced into people's, like they didn't have to go through a whole heap of scrolling through heaps of text. So the story's there if you want to find the story. You've got words that'll kind of be thoughts of how Nim is going or traveling in a certain section of the game. Then there's some diary notes in the actual game itself, but they're not compulsory kind of reading. You can basically play the game without the story or with the story. It's up to you, the player.
Yeah, and with the Tasmanian setting, like right at the end of the demo, there's a reference to the spirit of Tasmania. Is there any other interesting references?
There's actually a lot of scenery that's modelled off Tasmanian walks or areas around Tasmania that we've modelled into the game. And then there's some puns of some famous Tasmanian businesses that a lot of people, probably mostly Tasmanians, would know about, but that's about it. People outside of Tasmania, not so much.
Yeah, okay, and then with the visuals, as you were saying, the art style is kind of low poly style. and it looks pretty good. Kind of reminds me of A Short Hike. Is that one of your inspirations at all?
Not maybe a little bit graphically. I think the inspirations for the game, if you could think of The Witness, and if Lego made the Witness game, so it's a Lego Witness type of game, that's probably more the way that we wanted the game to feel.
And then with the gameplay in the demo here, there's a bunch of block pushing puzzles. Is there any other sort of puzzles that you'll be doing later on?
Most of the puzzles are either memory-based or Sudoku puzzles. There are some other puzzles that you find amongst the world where you might... They're either involve kicking a box or stepping on a button most of the time. So the idea of that was to make it easy to understand how to use the puzzle system.
Yeah, so that's pretty good, and I like the kind of cozy style of like just this nice nature that you're walking through, and you go into a few caves and things. So yeah, I liked it. So thanks for having a chat with me.
Thank you very much for playing and looking at Lighthaze World.
Thanks. I'm here with Bo from Squash and Stretch with your game Rat Trap. What can you tell me about it briefly?
So Rat Trap is a Metroidvania game about a lab rat trying to escape the laboratory it's being held in. This rat will go to any ends to escape, including finding and destroying everything in its way using a variety of robot machinery that the rat can combine with and split with in a number of puzzle situations.
Yeah, so I just played your demo, like it was a very brief demo, just kind of a tutorial sort of thing. You play as the little rat, and then as you go through the level, you get a few like robot power-up things. And you say it's a Metroidvania, so I'm guessing like as you go through, there's like a whole heap of different robots and stuff that you get along the way or something?
Yeah. So you'll learn new abilities along the way. You'll get bigger, stronger, faster. But as you said, you start as this tiny little rat, and then you build up over time. You get more mech parts, ones that allow you to jump higher, ones that allow you to shoot grenades. You know, you run faster, bigger, stronger. But yeah, you find that as you go around and in an exploratory sort of setting. So it's not fully linear or anything like that. But yeah, about a rat basically building its own big robot machine and, you know, taking out his captors.
Yeah, and so I don't really play a lot of Metroidvanias, they're not really my sort of thing, but when I played this, it seemed kind of on the easier side, which is good for me because I tried playing Metroid Dread, I was terrible at it.
Yeah.
So is that like an intentional thing, or is it just for this?
No. So the art style for this game is rather cartoony, does attract, I think, a wider age range of people who are interested. This is intentionally an accessible game, so other games in the genre might have kicked your butt a little bit in terms of they display a really hardcore sentiment towards combat and things like that, where this game's more about letting you win, you get a win, and maybe more of a gateway game to younger gamers or people who have real nostalgia for, you know, platformers in the past and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me, and I kind of like the bright, colourful art style as well. And it's kind of like puzzle solving as well as you're going through. Is that like the
absolutely.
idea?
So there is a fair puzzle focus on the game. As the rat, you do get access to a bunch of different robot parts that allow you to control them separately and remotely, essentially. So you can imagine about how maybe you can control a robot drone and send it over here whilst also simultaneously, you know, exploring in another direction, and then utilising that power to solve puzzles. There is a wealth of things that you can do in the game. It's a important part of my philosophy to try and make that as streamlined as possible, though. So never to make it too confusing, and to introduce things gradually as you go.
All right, well that's all pretty good, so thanks for having a quick chat with me.
No, thanks, Lee. Really appreciate it. Cheers.
just played about a 15-minute demo of Sonic Cross Shadow Generations. I was mainly interested in playing it because I played Sonic Generations when it first came out ages ago on PC, and I wasn't sure if I was still going to like it because I don't know, or I wasn't sure if I still like Sonic anymore because I played Sonic Mania recently, and that's like a really retro Sonic, and I didn't really like that at all. But I remember really having a lot of fun with Sonic Generations, so I wanted to try it again before I bought it. And so I'm glad I did because like Sonic Generations is still really fun. And this demo I played had some of the new Shadow stuff in it as well. So that was kind of interesting. That's more the 3D Sonic sort of style. And I didn't get to play the whole level because I got cut short with the 15-minute demo. But that is like you play as Shadow, and like the level design is all kind of dark and edgy as you would expect with being Shadow, and he has some different abilities, like he can rush forward like Sonic does, like run really fast, but he also has like this chaos control thing where it freezes time and you can stop things and like jump on them to use as platforms and stuff, and like freeze time for other reasons as well. So I thought that was pretty good. I was playing what must have been the PS5 version because it was a PS5 controller. I would be interested to see what the Switch version is like, but if I buy it, I would get the Xbox version just because it would run the best, really. But yeah, that was kind of interesting, and I'm glad I gave it a try because I probably will buy it now. Because yeah, it is really fun. One of the best Sonic games, I would say, even though I'm not really that much of a Sonic fan. So yeah, that's all. Yeah. So that'll be the end of PAX now, pretty much. So I think this turned out to be a pretty great video, so thanks for watching. It's been a very good weekend.